Hey everybody, it's Free to Play Bust, kicking off expedition number 174-ish? 174-ish? Close, maybe? Let's get to it. Okay. Alright, well, I'm just going to jump in on the Aurelion Sol. Uh, I can't think of, well... oh, it's the Teemo half of Total Recall. It's like, if you got the previous run, I was real tempted to try the invoke theme with Total Recall, but that kind of needs to be with Karma. All of the recall effects are in uh, the Karma side, but nonetheless, this is a reasonable Teemo. I'm not. These are pretty like mediocre spells to be starting with, but it's a reasonable start. This would point you towards starting with the Puffcat Peddler style deck. There's quite a few Teemo decks that you can build. This leans towards the spells version. Over here, I don't really like starting off with Shins. It, it, we've tried and tried and tried to just build around Shen, and it doesn't really work. He's an excellent support champion in that if we're gonna play say like three Dravens and one Shen, then he plays extremely well there. But we've just never been able to craft a deck that actively wants three Shens in it, and so we're just going to have to pass on this one. But what we're actually going to draft here is the Aurelion Sol. If you're just kind of like shooting for 7, I would probably recommend taking the Teemo. The reason I say this is that like just how we talked about Shen. We don't like Shen because we can't really ever play 3 Shens in a deck. We can really only play the one. Same thing applies to Aurelion Sol. He's just way too expensive to ever try to have 3 copies of. You may run into like real corner case situations where you want 2. Can't really imagine that's a thing too frequently, but it's just kind of one of these deals where we can't actually build around Aurelion Sol, but the cards that come out of Freylord should give us something to build around with him, even if it's just like a Sejuani or something. And so what I'm trying to get at is if you're going for 7, I would actually take the Teemo here. He plays fantastically in a wide range of decks. He can, just slot into any aggro deck if, you know, say we pick up, I don't know, an Arachnophiliad Draven, and we're just going to build around Draven for an aggro deck. Having a 1-drop aggressive unit with 2 removal spells, that's a great support package that we're adding into that. Or he can't fully build around to the Puffcap theme, so he's good as a build around, good as a support. Shen's only a support, Aurelion Sol's only a support, and so for pick one pack one, I do tend to go for the ones that can both build around and support. But for the sense of trying new things, I'm going to jump in on this Aurelion Sol, and so let me take a moment real quick and getting pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar, it's ftpbus.com. We're going to be taking a look at the Expedition Helper. We're just going to click on the Aurelion Sol card pool, and it'll list all of the cards that actually live in this card pool. This is, oh, buddy. This is a cat in my face. But no, like, this is just an invoke built around. And basically there's a few levels of invokes that I think are more important than the others. I think the cheap ones are particularly important, and the Lunari Priestess, Solari Priestess, and Spacey Sketcher. And then in the expensive ones, I think Moondreamer is the most important one. These just give us things that we can just put down on the board, can block our opponent's units, and if we ever try to get into a value game with an opponent, we're never going to lose it with the Invoke deck, right? It's just you generate so much value with these decks, just adding all these invokes to your hand. At some point, even if you add in what is he called, like the Dreamer or whatever, the Invoker, I don't know what he is, he's the 4-cost guy that's a 3/4 that invokes again. Like it's just ultra easy to just get a humongous pile of value. That the most important thing that happens is not dying. And so we really want to be dropping these priestesses early just to come down on the board and prevent 3 and 4 damage. Then at the top end, if we just end up with like 3 Star Shapings and 1 Moondreamer, fine. but we're really actively seeking to pick up these actual physical units to just put down on the board. And so I do value the units a little bit higher than Behold the Infinite and Star Shaping. That's not to say that these cards aren't good. It's just that I value them a little bit lower than the actual units. And then otherwise with this, we're going to have to try to find some early game. These are rares in the priestess, and sketcher, and so we're not like super likely to actually find these. We need to be finding cheap cards to clog up the early game, and so we'll have to seriously look for that in another card pool. And then kind of the other thing to note here is that no removal exists in this card pool. We have to find either, if nothing goes well, we either have to find sunbursts out of like synergy packs or wild picks, or we just have to get it from another faction. And so this is kind of, the things this pool has going for it is just a ultimate, the ultimate late game. There's no late game better than this pool, but the early game is pretty bad. The interaction is pretty bad. And then the last thing I do like to call out here is there are a lot of just dead cards in this pool. This pool was apparently too good coming into patch 111, so they just added in Fledgling Stellacorn and Porofla, which are basically unplayable. It's got a bit of this dragon theme, which just isn't really good between Dragon's Clutch and Herald of the Dragons. As the cards stand, there's just not enough dragons in the format for these to ever be playable. And then I don't really like Messenger Sigil. It does shuffle Celestials into your deck, which can be moderately important, but I still think it's fairly garbage. And so that's what we have going on with Aurelion Sol. Let's see if we can't find a good pairing for him. So already starting out with the Fledgling Stellacorn is just such a bad card. Okay, oh, it's a Lee Sin. Oh boy, we have to jump in on Lee Sin. I was gonna say I've been going on and on and on about how we never see Lee Sin, and here's our opportunity. And so it's not ideal having him paired with Aurelion Sol. If you're familiar with what's happening in Constructed right now, he really wants to be paired with either a basically one of the champions that has access to Zenith Blade, be it preferably a Tarek. Also happy with Leona. I'm pretty sure Zenith Blade doesn't live in this card pool. It would have no reason to live with the Aurelion Sol cards. But this is who we're going to take. We can go ahead and get his card pool pulled up real quick. If you're not familiar with Lee Sin, the kind of the big thing going on with him now, if you want to go back and see, it has to be our most recent Lee Sin draft, but I bet it was like 60 drafts ago. We never actually see him pop up. But in the previous one, we did this with Kato the Arm. But kind of the idea is that you'll get a flipped Lee Sin. He makes these Dragon's Rages. The Dragon's Rage removes your opponent's unit from combat, and then does Lee Sin's attack to the opponent. But then since there's not a blocker, if you give Lee Sin Overwhelm, then he basically hits for his attack twice. And so we used to pull it off with Kato the Arm and Might, but now that Zenith Blade is a card in Targon, they have another ultimately pretty easy way to give Lee Sin Overwhelm, but it also comes at, it boosts his health and gives him Challenger. It's got a whole lot of synergies with Lee Sin. And as far as this goes, this is a pretty good Spells Matter kind of pack. I am a big fan of these Claws of the Dragons. And let me just go ahead and get Lee Sin pulled up here real quick. Where is he at? And so basically, that's kind of what we'll be looking to do here. Now that he's so cheap, we'll be seeing, and we're in Targon, we'll be seeing if we can't pull off this theme. But beyond that, this typically devolves into either like two different kind of decks. It's either just an ultra spell heavy deck to where we try to get a big pile of Claws of the Dragons, or it switches over into a Horns of the Dragon deck to where we just have these two big beefy units in Lee Sin and Horns of the Dragon. We try to give them Overwhelm, or not Overwhelm, but Overwhelm was good, but we try to give them barriers to survive combats over and over again, and then we'll eventually just crush through for a gigantic attack on our opponents. And so what tends to be pretty important out of this Lee Sin pack is picking up the spells that are good. There's Sonic Wave, which counts as kind of the big one. It counts as, your 2 spells for Lee Sin. Spirit's Refuge is also important in the sense that it gives us 2 barriered units in combat, assuming we have a second spell to play. Whereas, if Lee Sin's down, we Spirit's Refuge a second unit and then play a second spell, then Lee Sin will pick up the barrier and not need it from the Refuge. But if it's the only spell that we have for that turn, giving him barrier and challenger's not the worst that can happen. And then Concussive Palm is great for stalling the game. Deep Meditation keeps the spells rolling. And so we'll have to kind of see how these go. I think once we get to the further into the draft portion, we're just going to have to try to take the Spell Slingers packs if they show up, because I don't really want these Aurelion Sol cards showing up. And so I think it's pretty important to just go ahead and snatch up this Spell Slingers pack. I'm not really excited about Key Guardian or Concussive Palm, but like as far as it goes, we want Claws of the Dragon showing up. We want these spells showing up. We're really limited in the actual Targon cards we want showing up. And we certainly don't want Stellacorns or Sunblessed Vigors. So, these 2 card pools don't really mesh too well together. And so I think the big thing we'll be looking for here is early game. And getting Collective Support and Radiant Dawn to show up are big deals. I don't think we want Tayari. I think we want to jump over to the Collective Support pack. This should hopefully start to get like the Zenith Blades and the Gem Makers and even like things like Tayari and Solari Soldiers. Hopefully these are the cards that we're wanting to show up. We don't want these Aurelion Sol style cards. So here I do want the spell and I do want the 2-drop. You could arguably take Soldier and Tayari, but I don't think we're ever going to be aggressive enough to actually get value out of Tayari. Okay. Interesting set. I don't want Herald of the Dragon. This card's just too garbage. I'm not upset with adding Moondreamers to our deck. This isn't constructed. We're not going to be able to pull off these big Lee Sin OTKs like we can in constructed. He's certainly going to be something our opponents are going to have to pay attention to. He's certainly going to win us some games, but we do need to pick up some top end otherwise. And so Moondreamer is pretty reasonable top end to be picking up, but not at the cost of Herald of Dragons. And so here, I'm going to take the Whimsy and the Scales. Pix just doesn't play towards what we're trying to do. Sunblessed Vigor's okay, but it's pretty mediocre. And we're going to want at least 1 Whimsy in our deck. Like kind of the issue we had with Aurelion Sol was he doesn't have any removal. And this is basically as good as removal gets in Spell Slingers. And so if we pick up a Hush, that's great. Something to just actually deal with champions would be nice since this only hits followers. But, you can't have it all in these runs, and so I think we're okay to pick that up. But here, I don't really want 2 of them. These are basically pretty mediocre cards. Here, if we wanted to jump into Bilgewater, this would be our last chance. We do not. There's just no good spells in Bilgewater. And here, I'm pretty happy to pick up the Mentor and the Twin Disciplines. Twin Disciplines is just kind of one of the premier combat tricks, and this is just so much better now that he has 2 attack and can contest 2 in some of the 3-drops. Okay, Young Witch is moderately interesting. I don't hate Guiding Light in these decks. This could be a reasonable take. It's just, like as it stands, we don't have any deep meditations, and just cycling a card can be, just the little bit of boost we need to get our Lee Sin rolling. I don't quite feel like I want to jump in on Horns of the Dragons. Like we might have like messed this up to where we won't see these Otherworldly Creatures cards, but I feel like the card that we really want is Behold the Infinite. If we could find like 2 or 3 Behold the Infinites, I'd be super happy with that. But I don't think we need to be jumping after Horns of the Dragon in this run. I think we'll be able to get like 4 Invoke cards, and that will be enough to just fill out our top end. Or we'll just play Aurelion Sol. But long story short, I'm going to take the Young Witch. Well, I mean, she's not as aggressive as I would, or our deck isn't aggressive enough to really support this, but I think this will be okay. Even just giving like, giving Lee Sin quick attack or Scales of the Dragon quick attack gives us some kind of early game interaction. Okay. Here, I do believe I want the Behold the Infinite. We aren't really a Jeweled Protector deck. We have our one Whimsy. I don't really want multiples of these. And as I just said, I do want these Behold the Infinites. I think this is the exact invoke spell the invoke card that we're looking for, just because it combos with Lee Sin so well. And the Fused Firebrand, he does give us some time. Just kind of a way to, we have to have some late game. We're probably not going to find 4 Behold the Infinites, and so it's pretty okay. Here, I'm pretty happy to take the River Shaper Sonic Wave. It does play exceedingly well with this Young Witch, and if we're ever just able to trade it and pick up another spell with it, then that's completely fine. Okay. Here, I think we want the Claws and the Horns. I am still pretty high on Claws being good in this deck. We aren't unit dense enough for Kringlade Elder to be any good. I would be okay with Star Shaping, but the Porofly is just pretty unplayable here. So let's take the Horns and the Claws. Okay, here we can ignore these. Dragon's Clutch is actual unplayable in our deck. I kind of want the Deny, but I think we want to just push our curve down. I think I'm going to be not really happy with these Guiding Touches, but like moderately happy. It is a little risky. Maybe we just have to take the Deny here if we're going to try to build around Lee Sin. I'd rather have Bastion, but I mean we're not really at a point to where we can pick and choose what spells we're getting access to. I think we just have to go ahead and take the one Deny. Here we're good with Behold the Infinite in the unit. I would like to have some Feyfolk in this deck. It is actually a very good unit. It just hasn't been paired up with cards that we actually want. Now Shadow Assassin's unplayable, so I guess we are going to pick up our 3 to 4 Behold the Infinites. And here again, happy with the Claws and the Horns. Our top end is a little bit too top heavy now, but it's okay. Maybe we can get a trade pick or two to kind of solidify our deck. I mean, we don't have to take expensive cards with Behold the Infinite. It's just kind of what we would prefer the run to look like. Here, we do have a moderate number of barriers, and Spirit's Refuge can be important, like same with the Tasty Feyfolk and just really stalling games out. We didn't find any of these so far. I'm trying to see how many barrier cards we have. Do we not? We have 2 Key Guardians and that's it, so not a whole lot. Then we need to look for the Conspirator. We didn't pick up any Invoke units as well. He's pretty weak in our deck. He only works with Scales of the Dragon, which is pretty weak. But I don't think I want Morning Light. Out of all of these cards, I might want the Shield Bearer the most, but our 2-drop slot's pretty decent. So let's just take the Spirit's Refuge, even though the Caretaker doesn't play too well in our deck. Okay, here I'm just going to get rid of the Stellacorn. We have 2 Twin Disciplines already, so we don't need to go out of our way to find these. Jeweled Protector doesn't really do anything special in our deck, and then the Stellacorn's just bad. And so not real stoked to be adding in all these high-cost dragons into our deck, but one of the things I haven't talked about is we didn't get huge into Lee Sin. We didn't find the Zenith Blades, but it's still what we're building towards. And one of the things we have to really consider in these runs is that in the 0-win game we have 1 Lee Sin, and then in wins 1 and 2 we only have 2 copies, and so it takes a while for these Lee Sins to get online. And if we're going to be a full Lee Sin build around, it doesn't matter how build around you are if you never draw him. And so these 5s and 6s can be kind of important to help us actually get to the 3-win stage. Okay, so yeah, not the full constructed deck here with the with the gems and the Zenith Blades or the Zeds, however you feel like approaching it. Get your Terex on. Lee Sin only. You guys can argue on the competitive subreddit which one's best, but this is what would be a fair Lee Sin deck as opposed to what's happening in constructed right now. All right, that's a reasonable start. I think we just have to keep this. We can get rid of Spirit's Refuge. It doesn't actually fit into what we're doing with our curve. Well, neither does Aurelion Sol, but it's okay. That's the way it goes sometimes. Alright, the refuge is back. It was meant to be. I'm just going to boost the Stomper. It's going to have an immediate impact. I feel like we're going to get to turn 3, play River Shaper, and not be able to attack with it. And so the likely course is that the Stomper comes down and we just open next turn. More and more like that Swain Fizz. Okay.
Coming in hot!
And then we're not in a real huge hurry here. I'm just going to offer up the Mentor, and we're just kind of building up a big grindy hand here. We're going to get this River Shaper down. He's going to start threatening combats. You know, it's no reason, I don't think, to just get this Stomper in, have our opponent play like some 3-3, and then we just can't really block it next turn.
Where do you stand on cold shots?
Water changes but never breaks.
Okay, and then super stoked to just do whatever we can with River Shaper here. He's gonna be our Lee Sin replacement. I'm not gonna stop this stun though. It's not that scary. But I would love to just bank all this spell mana.
Victory at any cost.
Yep.
This isn't part of the training.
Getting the opportunity to just play, to get a free attack in with River Shaper. How do these go? Okay, that'll work. Okay, let's just take Written in the Stars. This will draw our Lee Sin and it'll be huge.
With quiet steps, the dragon approaches.
Wait a minute.
Not gonna let this happen. Whatever this isn't happening. Do we want to just deny? Kind of want to keep these like bursty spells for Lee Sin. Okay.
A gift from the river folk.
And there's a good chance we don't actually get this Lee Sin down for our next attack. I'm going to want to bank up a bunch of spell mana before we actually drop him down. And so I do kind of want to written in the Stars here at some point. Just maybe not necessarily right here. How does that work? We'll have 7 mana next turn. He'll cost 3. We'll have two spell mana banked so he can cast 6, which would be 2 Twin Disciplines. That's probably okay. Go ahead and pick it up. Not super worried about our health total while we have the Spirit's Refuge here.
Shall we dance, Lee?
I'll follow your lead.
Okay, seems pretty reasonable for us. That's kind of scary seeing that just come down. These have burst, so we can at least give Lee Sin Challenger. Then we can put River Shaper here. This kind of just depends on what he plans on doing with a spell. You know, this River Shaper attacking here is probably just going to fizzle. I have to imagine that if his game plan was to get these powder kegs going, that this River Shaper attack is just never happening. Let's do this. Let's protect our Lee Sin.
Conflict is all in the mind. Strike firmly. Prepare yourself.
And see what his plans are here. If it's like a make it rain, then we don't super care. I mean, there's a world where we should have put our Twin Disciplines here, but like I just really don't want our Lee Sin taking damages here. So if this like just happens and he takes 1 damage, I'm pretty okay with it. Not real happy if our Lee Sin just has 2 health.
I'll see this through. Ying Yue, you've been in my thoughts.
Oh, Lee, you always did think too much.
Sure.
Skill and grace to tear your breath away.
Not ideal, but not the end of the world. Okay, it's an additional spell for our Lee Sin. Let's do this. Let's add the Protector. I don't think there's any way that he gets a bunch of damage in
Trust your instincts.
on our Lee Sin
Let's
here.
fly.
I think we're pretty safe to Dragon's Protection, Spirit's Refuge, and then just gain 100 health here. Sure.
A fallen petal.
Oh, Concussive Palm. Can we just kill here? Probably not. I think we'll probably want to save the Concussive Palm for this thing for next turn. We're going to lose out on a barrier. We don't care how much we lose on these. So let's do this. Give this Dragon's Protection. We're still going to give Lee Sin the Spirit's Refuge just for the lifesteal. And then he can get in for 10 lifesteal.
I will not hold back. As the dragon wills.
Hope it is only for 6, isn't it?
Strike
It's
firm.
okay. Still kick this thing
Center
away.
your spirit.
The dragon remembers.
You got legs. Use them.
Spring does not pity winter.
I did all that talk about our Lee Sin having Overwhelm that I just kind of assumed that he had it. he does not. If he had Overwhelm, then he would be dealing the double health. Is he still going to do it? What am I missing? He's not actually going to hit this thing twice. It says we're going to 20.
Can I paint you?
Oh, it strikes both. It hits the unit and the Nexus. Okay, that makes sense.
The dragon waits.
Right, should be pretty good for us. Like if something comes down as an absolute disaster, we do still have this Concussive Palm. I just don't think we're going to need it. I think we're just going to play Aurelion Sol next turn. Who cares about all this Lee Sin stuff? We'll just put the big old dragon on the board.
Spring raindrops. Ow, 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 ow. A fallen petal.
Sure.
These are dangerous lands.
Can't imagine these are anything that want to prevent us from playing Aurelion Sol.
I go unseen.
Okay. All right.
Your favorite star. I created it.
Perfect.
The
Can't imagine we ever lose with a fill your hand card and all of our celestial things costing 0. It just has to be the end of the game.
My, how they stare.
Right, so give us 10 minutes to play 100 spells here, and then we'll get this game wrapped up.
I'll see this through.
These gems grant a wearer harmony.
All right. Big thing, sure.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Lee has
We're doing a lot of analysis here.
Only the bad parts are true.
I have to imagine that's enough to do it. I have to imagine. Well, you got to do something, Lee Sin. You got us up to 20 health and then just... There you go. There you go. That's a unwinnable spot.
Ionia endures.
Okay, so we're going to continue to take Lee Sin's. I just don't imagine there's a world where we ever want to pick up Aurelion Sols. Half tempted to take this Lulu, because we really want this Sunburst. I think we just have to take Lee Sin's. Hopefully we'll get to trade out, some of these expensive cards, but as it stands, we're kind of stuck with them. Okay. To the next one. This is the super cool Lee Sin deck, but I think it's good enough. It's good enough to get us there. We don't win all these games with Aurelion Sol, but I think this has a good shot at going the whole way. These Lee Sin decks were like super powerful even when he cost 6 mana. Now having him cost 4 is pretty nice. Don't really have answers to Teemo though. This is kind of an awkward combination for him. I think we need to hang on to Sonic Wave in case we get Teemoed, and then we can just swap out these other cards. It's a pretty reasonable keep with Young Witch as well, as long as we're able to pick up another unit to go along with them. Okay, it's not nearly as scary as a Teemo, I think. I mean, we do. I think this was a Teemo run at the beginning. Like we had the, where was it? I can't remember.
Where'd she go?
What you tend to run into a lot with Teemo is, even if you just want to make this like really aggressive Nocturne deck, then Teemo fits in that just fine. He's a 1-cost card, so he plays in with Nightfall well. It's just an all-around great aggressive 1-drop, and then in Piltover you're picking up all kinds of stuff like Mystic Shots, and so lots of goodies that you can do with him.
Take a stance and hold it.
Here, and this is pretty fine. We're gonna get probably gonna get nugged here by something, but it's not the end of the world. Sure.
There they go. Look out!
Can't trade, but we're still in a spot to where we can probably put together a Sonic Wave, even though we have to do it with a more expensive unit. Barely got there. Barely got there with the Scales of the Dragon. And then hopefully we can just set up a big Spirit's Refuge. If we're careful with our scales here, we can prevent a combat with Concussive Palm. Like, we have the tools to build a lot of time here.
Have a mushroom. Have 3.
This way! Oh!
It's feeling like 5 is a little short from where we want to be. Well, I mean, I guess if it comes down to it, we can also play some Twin Disciplines on here to just gain a huge chunk of health. Sure. This is far from ideal. I think we need to just go ahead and Concussive Palm this Onlooker, so that we have a blocker for here. At this stage, we probably just have to trade out Young Witch. We can put this 3/2 in front of his Mist Wraith, but this is just a huge attack if we don't try to interact here.
You cannot win.
Not real excited about dropping into the single digits against buff cap decks.
My magic.
That's okay. I'm gonna keep being greedy here. We can add Horns to the Dragon. He can gain an actual infinite health if he survives to the next attack. Should be super hard for them to actually interact with this. Okay, feeling better now. He's running pretty low on cards as well. So if we can get back to our next turn do like a Twin Disciplines Spirit's Refuge onto a Horns of the Dragon, I think we're pretty okay.
Safety mode. Didn't build one.
I want to do this. This kind of gives us an opportunity to burst out a blocker. He's probably feeling pretty all in at this stage. Just go ahead and get it down. Bank this 3 mana, protect our unit that matters. It's tough for him to have vengeances. Vengeance doesn't actually live in any of the Nocturne card pools, to the best of my memory, and so I think it should probably be okay. Trying to do some mathematics to see if we can ever just add a second Horns. I don't think we can. It's kind of suspect what he's doing here. Almost feels like we're about to get hit with Rasa. So let's do this. Well, we lose both of these guys. I'm kind of okay with it.
Time for violence.
Let's see what he does. We don't really need to blow our wad on this Spirit's Refuge yet. Interesting. So I'd say our guess of Rasa was just wrong, but something feels suspect unless he's just like holding on to a handful of Mystic Shots. What he's doing is very surprising to me. Sure.
They grow up so fast.
Be 2 Withering Whales. Yeah. Okay. Right, so we can get the Horns down, and then we just have to be doing a Spirit's Refuge play next turn.
Desires conflict.
This feels like another Withering Whale, but I think it's okay if this one goes wrong.
Do not see.
Strike, we will reform.
Okay. These are the only units we care about. We'll just gain 100 life next turn.
What form will the waters take?
I don't see any reason to behold the infinite. Skull, sure. Pretty good. We're in a fantastic spot now. As long as we don't. There's only 16 buff caps. I had to double check to see how bad it was, but I think we're okay. Then the unfortunate thing with this attack is we do need to Spirit's Refuge now. Oh, we're up in lethal. He has to block, right? Let's at least put let's put another unit out so that he
I'll take on anyone.
has to block. Or do we want to just not care and spew this? I think I like that as well. Hang on. Picked up a deny. Nice.
Hey there, hothead.
You're one to talk.
Okay. I like that more. Sure. He's going to have to block, and then I'm fully planning on, regardless of what units he puts where, I'm going to Twin Disciplines this Horn so that we gain 14. That's the only way we're ever losing this game, is if we let our health total get too low against these puff caps. Double check and make sure we don't have a lethal here. We don't. Oh, this isn't going to do it, is it? This is only going to hit this guy once. That was messed up. Right?
My friends.
I guess we'll gain 7 instead of 4, but I was really wanting to gain 14. That should be enough to pull us out, though.
Charged up and ready to go.
Let's bank all this mana, and then we can behold the infinite next turn. Sure.
Safety mode.
Sure.
Didn't build one.
What do we got? Either of these dudes just win the game. This guy's good. Should do it. He'd give our overwhelm to our thing here. This elusive isn't quite enough to get through. Okay.
Blast him! Here we go!
Runaway bike!
Spring does not pity winter.
If you'd only turn back.
Just let that unfortunate block happen. I think it's okay. Picking up a spell here could be pretty crucial. Should be more important than him potentially adding 3 more puff caps to our deck.
A gift from the river folk.
See if we pick up something cheap here. I was trying to see. It's blocking all our mana. This is a unit. Maybe we'll pick up a 1-drop with this as well. A 1 or a 0. Perfect.
It was my heart that led me here.
Okay. Okay, 2 health should be out of reach from this, unless he drops a ruination or something here. Then we should just have this one in the bag. Okay, perfect.
I've always been a fun guy.
Good game. Doing the mathematics. They do not look good. Alright, cool. Good deal. Okay. It's kind of awkward, but I think I want to pick up this Caretaker for the Protector. We just don't have any combos with this. I mean, sure, we have a couple Key Guardians, but I would say like 75+% of the time, this guy's just going to be a 1/2 for 1 and just never do anything. And so I'm not like real stoked about the state of our curve, but I think this 4-drop's just going to pan out a little bit better. Here, you know, there is an argument to pick up a Whimsy, but I think that on like the other side of the coin, this Inspiring Mentor is actually good. He can trade with a lot of 2-drops, a non-zero number of 3-drops. He just kind of does more things as to where this Caretaker, just these 1-attack units just don't do anything. Okay. Sometimes you just win without champions. This is pretty cool. I dig this deck. Behold the Infinite's pretty powerful here. This is what I think what Expedition's all about. Where, you know, this isn't a viable constructed deck, but you know, given kind of the constraints of being like, well, we took Lee Sin, we're in Targon, we really want these Zenith Blade things to show up, but they didn't. And so, you know, what's like the actual strength there? The strength is like playing spells at burst speed, and Beyond the Infinite is a pretty powerful one to be playing. Curious if we should keep Concussive Palm. I certainly want to keep the 2s here. What was this, Callista Zed? Probably should keep it against a Zed. It's not going to be useful. Well, we can bank a mana and make it useful. It depends on how he goes about his plays. Shutting down his Zed for a turn on 3 could be pretty big. Right, say he opens with Zed next turn, and then we Concussive Palm it. It's a pretty big slowdown for his offense.
We shall pierce their treasonous
Don't super care about Callista. We don't have any good interactions against her though. Is it fine? Do we just want to prevent the damage and get a unit down? That doesn't seem horrible.
This way! Go!
I kind of want to get this actual Scales of the Dragon down with with the health boost.
Move with
Oh,
purpose.
yeah, we can. We can open. Or do we want to just bank spell mana? I think I like this more.
Lulu! Where'd she go?
It also gives us something to contest his young witch. Like if we attack and he decides to trade, I'm pretty happy with that. Or if he plays a 3 health unit, I'm pretty happy with that.
Face me.
Okay. I feel like this has to go well for us.
Everyone's a garden.
Okay. So Callista's gonna flip. We do have like concussive palm plays that we can make to get this Claws of the Dragon out. It's hitting. I think we're probably gonna need to save the concussive palm to hit whatever. Right? He's probably gonna young witch a sapling. I think that's who we need to be concussive palming. But if we do it that slow, then we can't get a Claws of the Dragon down. Right, let's cycle this and see if we draw anything. Otherwise, we just have to... Okay, well, we drew something. Just have to pass it back.
Come on, Rib! Zoom!
Okay. So he's gonna get a flipped Callista, and that's fine. Oh, yeah, we want to double check. There was a world where we just concussive palmed this, and I think we could have perhaps tried to do it that way, but won't be necessary. Yeah, we won't get the blocker in time.
My heart longs for the poetry of battle.
You will not live long with that attitude.
Oh man, we could have killed with Callista, couldn't we have? I messed that up. We should have we should have boosted the Stomper's attack and put it in front of Callista. That's not ideal. Damn. It's okay. You should only have one more copy of her. We're dominating this combat. Yeah, that was definitely sloppy. The only real upside to this Callista flip is his current dead unit's going to be Blighted Caretaker, which is not an ideal resummon. But as soon as he plays a Mist Wraith or a Mist Caller or whatever, we're going to be in a pretty painful spot. Sure.
Our spear sings for the fallen.
Damn, that might be enough to do us in.
Trust your instincts. Let's
Too
fly.
bad. I feel bad about that one.
Sorrow without action is weakness.
Just another bad unit that'll return to Callista.
Water changes but never breaks.
Feels like we're gonna get hit with the Twin Disciplines, but I think that's okay. Like I think we just have to try to race through this now. Sure, that's fine.
Protect them.
Grasping claws.
Yeah, that did really shut down our attack here. That's kind of suck. He didn't attack with this. I wonder if he's got that like 4-cost 3/3 guy.
Oh,
Sure.
soil.
We see this. We can't play both. I think we need to be protecting our River Shaper here. probably not going to have time to do this. Oh, we do have time to do this. Okay, so River Shaper can go. Give a quick attack. Give something quick attack.
This way.
Okay, taking 4 is not a big deal.
Spring raindrops.
Alright, so that could have been much worse than it was. It still feels like a pretty bad spot, but could have been much worse. We want to, like, we're real close to killing him. We can't play this until his turn. I think we just want to go for value here, though. We're pretty close to just killing this guy. Let's go ahead and get this combat going. I think this will buy us the necessary time. Ooh, and we're just getting a hit in? Sweet.
What form will the waters take?
Okay.
I am the light beyond life.
Okay, I don't think we need any of these spells right now. Golden Sister should be enough to close it. We can get this elusive in. We'll have enough mana to get the elusive plus... no, that's not good enough anymore. But I was gonna say we have the mana to get the elusive plus deny back up to try to get through, but still this should be enough card advantage to take this down. Sure.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
Set attacks are not welcome. This can block our dude. We're fine with that.
The light of my star
think this is
warms the
enough.
heavens.
This way! Go!
Silence. Death comes.
It's a decision.
Do not fear death.
Say nothing about that looks good. Not a single thing about that attack looks positive. I don't think we need to add the horns. I'm pretty happy to just keep all of our mana intact here.
My light shines.
Do you like magic?
Be still now.
Do not disappoint me.
He could have rearranged those for that not to be lethal, but okay, that's what it is. Okay, and we're just taking the Lee Sin. We don't. That is an Aurelion Sol to be taking. This Involus Vox is just incredibly powerful. But I don't think we're quite a deck that needs it. Feels like we have enough top end. Okay, yeah, we'll take the Lee Sin. Okay. Got to that pivotal 3-win mark. I mean, we've won our last 2 games without Lee Sins anyways, but you know, a lot of our deck falls apart if we don't actually draw a Lee Sin. So glad to get up to 3. Our curve's a bit of a hot mess right now, but if we could cycle out some of these expensive cards, I'd be happy. Otherwise, excuse me, we have a pretty good like unit to spell balance. Try to keep that at like 50-50 in these kind of decks. I would be happy if we could pick up like a deep meditation. It's not like, doesn't feel super required in this deck where we have like 3 or 4 Behold the Infinites 3, but I don't hate the idea of that. This is kind of interesting. This is one of these spots where I kind of think like Guiding Touch is interesting. Kind of recover just a couple points from the early game and perhaps give us a way to slam out this Claws of the Dragon. And then if that ideal doesn't pan out, then you know, just fully banking 3 mana into a turn 3 River Shaper is not the end of the world. Sure. we don't really we have twin disciplines. We haven't picked up twin disciplines yet, but you know, it is pretty reasonable. It's kind of like the Fiora play, like with your Fiora backup plan, right? If you play the River Shaper and just give it a barrier or something every combat, we can kind of do that, but it's just with Key Guardian and twin disciplines. Right, well, there's the Key Guardian half of it. Can't get both units down if that's what we want to do, but we can't, you know, get the Key Guardian River Shaper going. Sucks that we just have to play we have to play this card. It's just not what we want to do. Oh man. Interesting. Let's pass and see what he does. I think we might be able to Concussive Palm his whatever his big boy is here, and then get on a good attack with these two Claws of the Dragons. Say what up to all my units. Did we just bamboozle? Get off my nuts. Nice name, bro. That's nice name of the week, I think. I need to just switch my name back to Butt Stuff 420 and uh-oh. Or was that actually my play and I just didn't push the button?
Step aside.
You cannot tell the wind to change direction.
That might have been the case.
Dragon lives.
Oops. Okay.
My shield is yours.
And we may not get use out of this barrier here,
Water
but
changes, but never
it
breaks.
feels like he really wants to be attacking. And so we get 2 spells out of this River Shaper. I'm pretty okay with that. And then if this just blanks him from attacking his post scout attack, then it feels absolutely worth.
A misstep.
Okay, works for me.
Spring raindrops.
So then it's like, what is the likelihood that he plays a 4 attack unit? Getting up to 5 could be kind of close. I think I just like opening
Within
here,
my grasp.
and then we'll follow up with the Firebrand. We're not in a hurry. I think if we're just getting into a fully empty board against a Demacia deck, you know, at this stage of the game, then that's just fine with us. This feels like one of these things where we just win this game like 75% of the time from this state. Just make a big old spell shielded boy get into some combat with the potential overwhelms.
Quickly, Ursine, battle approaches.
The storm is close. Soon.
I think this will break a spell shield, right? I'm not like stoked about that, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Right? It has to be one of those things to where the little circle goes in the middle of the map for the spell shield to break. Is that how that works? I think so.
A fight!
I think I'm pretty content with just kind of going all in on this Firebrand.
The dragon will keep you safe.
But it is the dragon. How does the dragon keep it safe? Okay. Let's just keep getting width here. He's going to get pretty reasonable attacks next turn, have to assume. He's going to play a dude and hook here and try to get some value hits with these. But I think we can shut down this combat. That's it. Alright, that's the easy one. We want to protect here. Don't really want this thing to grow. I think that's fine. Then we're going to have a big Lee Sin turn next turn. This is going to put our thing into play. We can get this off the board now.
The bad parts are true.
I don't even think we care about that. Okay. Vicky clearly wanted this block, right? But there's just like no amount of cards that make this actually matter. Okay. I'm not going to spend the deny on this. We're going to get a big turn next turn out of the dragon thing plus Lee Sin.
Protect them.
Force is meaningless without skill.
And savagery without grace.
We'll take what we want. The rest will burn.
Okay.
Our enemies cannot hide. My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Unfortunately, just have to do this right now. Otherwise, our Lee Sin won't have barrier. But let's at least put it up on the big
I
boy.
will not hold back.
This way, you know, you can spread the damage across. But if he wants to make the attack where he survives on something, then we want him taking the most amount of damage. I want to approve of that, friend. Alrighty, good game.
I thank you, dragon.
Let's see. Eye of the Dragon, of course, pretty interesting. It sucks to lose out on some of our card advantage here, but these dragonlings do so much work towards just stalling out the games. Shadow Assassin don't want. Herald of Dragons don't want. I think we do want to pick up this epic here. It's unfortunate to lose River Shaper, but it just, you know, even if we ignore like trying to do all of these Lee Sin things, just getting the time to get our Aurelion Sol or our Invokes or whatever online, that dude just gives us so much value in that department. Great. Nice little epic pickup. It's cool. It's what we need. Gotta get some of these expensives out here. That would have been cool if we could have traded out like a 5-drop for that whatever that thing's called. But Daddy Schlongleg. We got all the names today. Was that Misfortune Sejuani? Okay, so I think we're safe to hang on to Lee Sin. I think a hand like this might be reasonable. Where to go? Can't use him until turn 6 attack, which is kind of the only sad thing here. But I think, you know, there's a lot of decks to where you're not really cool with keeping 4-drops, but I don't think that applies here. I think this is okay. You may just end up having to play this Claws of the Dragon to have something to do. Because I do assume that he's going to be on the more aggressive side of things, being a Misfortune deck. But we'll see how this pans out, especially if he doesn't open on us.
Finger on the trigger.
Okay. We're safe to let this pass.
Fight or
Sure.
die.
Yeah, it's a touch awkward, but
Rain from a cloudless sky.
okay. There's a good chance that, well, he may or may not have had a play there. That's pretty suspect when he just doesn't add anything, but we can really get moving from this point forward now.
And savagery without grace.
Like they don't, Bilgewater doesn't have combat tricks. The only like real card to worry about here would be a troll chant, which I think we're willing to risk. Sure. Okay. Let that go. Let's make some combats happen here. Slightly awkward, but I think this will be okay. Let's get units on board. Like we don't have to be super worried about losing this Lee Sin because we have another one. So if he has to go out of his way to try to bring this down, pretty okay with it. Do not care about Chum the Waters. That's a fact. That is a 100% fact. Do not care about that. So I think we're going to be Sonic Waving. Get
Our
Challenger.
enemies cannot hide.
Just go ahead and do this. Get you your
I
barrier.
will not hold back. Strike firmly. Center your spirit.
I want to take this down. I want to stop these Sejuani ticks that he's getting. We can deal with his Ruthless Raider. We can put a block in front of it, but I want to make him have to put in work if he's going to be attacking. Then we have all this surprise health in our hand, so I think we should be pretty well set from this point forward.
I sharp as my spear.
Okay, it's a choice. That does not seem like a deck that wants to be wants to be passing on attacking.
We made it, Rim! I want to go home.
Set the course.
Okay. If we're gonna keep drawing Lee Sins, let's keep doing stuff with them.
Our enemies cannot hide.
Great. You get a Resonating Struck.
I'll see this through.
Come on, Rim!
Give it one of these.
My lands. Prepare
One of
yourself.
these. Boom. Okay. We'll see what he does. Nothing? Let's take the Comet. Like with this board state that we have now, the only way things are going to go poorly is if he says, like, say he adds a Sejuani and tries to do stuff with it. We should be able to respond to anything that he has that's of relevance, and so we can just kind of counter his response
Feel
with a
no
Falling
fear,
Comet.
Show no mercy.
Sure.
Words to die by.
Let's get this out of here.
I will not hold back.
Leave nothing standing.
Ever just kill this? I don't think that feels ultra necessary. Just pass. Take this slow. don't need to give Lee
I'll
Sin
see this
barrier.
through.
It's something we can do, but doesn't need to
Center
happen.
your spirit.
Okay, we should be pretty close to just closing this out. I do want to bank a bunch of spell mana here. This Concussive Palm is going to be great on this hook. I think we're pretty okay to close this one out.
I'll shoot the wings off a bilge wasp.
Fortune, what do you fight for?
Fun. Mostly.
The dragon speaks through me.
Then let it roar.
Trim the main
All the
sail
sirens,
and raise
jeez, bud.
anchor.
Okay. It's fine. I don't think it matters. This is gonna do. Does it do an additional? Your spells and skills deal 1 additional. So Misfortune will deal 2.
Speed.
Captain's orders. Bullet to the face.
I will not hold
Okay.
back. I fight with the dragon's fury.
Right, that should be enough to protect our Lee Sin. Did this? Okay.
Love ya.
Oh, he is gonna get our Lee Sin, isn't he? I think it's okay. Still gonna make a big old boom on his board here.
Sing 'em their doom.
Crack ice and flesh!
If he just pulls in one of our small units. Sure.
This Trollland!
I've got us covered.
Alright, so we can't save our Lee Sin here. So let's we'll Concussive Palm the Siren. It's not a unit I'm like really stoked to have him keeping on the board, especially when we just don't have a whole bunch of spells here. But I think we'll wipe out his board next turn. Just the problems we burn ourselves out of spells.
Fire at will.
So
I will not
think
hold
he's
back.
going to have an Usgar left over. But we should be able to clear out most of his team on this follow-up attack. So what happens? We attack with everything. He can say block everything. He's gonna probably give up the Siren and this thing. Like this is 100% getting blocked. Trying to decide if we ever just want to add Horns of the Dragon. I think we do. I think there's a lot of possibility for these attacks to go wrong.
The dragon
It just
speaks
adds in
through
another
me.
just like must
Then
block
let it
unit
roar.
that he currently doesn't have anything big enough to deal with. So it's like if he has a Harsh Winds, then we're kind of hosed here.
Many
But
tribes, one Freljord.
it feels like we're about to get hit with Harsh Winds, and he hit his thing. But
This might
let's
hurt
get
you.
him in there.
The dragon lives. Who goes there?
Gotcha in my sights.
We're being boarded.
Guess he's not Harsh Windsing these. He's preventing some of this.
Break for
Still
impact.
seems like he wants to be playing Harsh Winds here. I don't know what I don't know what this thing sitting out in the middle
know
is.
what
It
I'm
seems
doing.
like he's kind of resigned himself to using it. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness! Did this
Make it
Siren thing actually hit our...
Missed.
Oh, it didn't count? Why didn't that deal 2 damage?
Abandoned ship.
Oh, it's while it's attacking. Okay. Alright. That seems pretty good for us. I have to imagine this is good for us. Huh. Sure. Yep.
Success gets you noticed around here.
Alright, I'm feeling much better about this. That felt like it was kind of just like a spewy attack, but it did enough work, I guess. I thought that he was going to be much safer than the way that turned out. Can't behold. Might as well pick up another Lee Sin. I guess it could hit Aurelion Sol. This is not the worst time to just draw Aurelion Sol either. You can't play it this turn, but he certainly closes out these games. Okay.
You'll soon understand my methods.
Okay, well, I mean, seems reasonable enough.
Time to make some coin.
Put a big chunk on the horns, that's fine. Sure. Nope. It seems like the attack you want to be making. Get our unit off board and punch through some damage. It doesn't seem like any of these plays winning the game, but...
Yeah, bud?
Sure. Block.
No problem.
How did that move go?
I think this is what we want to do. The width here doesn't like super matter. If he has a unit, we'll just full clear his board, and if he doesn't have a unit, then we just win anyways. I think that 2 damage just isn't relevant here. You could technically add both of those units, but I think we have the chance to just like pick up stuns here. Stick whatever card doesn't require Celestials.
I created it.
Okay.
You've been wonderful, as have I.
Easy peasy. So let's see here. I think we're good to just pick up Sonic Wave. The guiding touch is doing essentially what we want Sonic Wave to do. This does things a little bit better. I don't hate these. I thought I was going to hate this more in this deck, but traditionally this kind of card's been pretty bad. But it seems like it's been pretty reasonable in Expedition. There's a lot of combos with it. It's not something I go out of my way to find. That's for certain. But it's not something I hate having. Cool. Okay. Let's see if we can power through this one, get in that final battle. The deck's been doing a lot of powering through. It makes me wonder, I mean, in general, I do really just enjoy playing aggressive decks. It tends to be what I prefer to do. But seeing things like this, I mean, the curve is much higher than I typically prefer to play. But I mean, we're still having some success with it. We are ending up with some of these turns that I don't like, to where you know, it's say like turn 6 and we have a 4 or 5 and a 6 in our hand, and we can't really do a whole lot with that. But I don't hate how this is going. I think this is fine. I think Lee Sin is okay to keep now that he costs 4 mana. We're gonna be on curve with these, and then we can just not play anything on turn 3 and then just have a super big Lee Sin turn. You don't even have to like Sonic Wave him when we have this this Young Witch. We can just Twin Disciplines the Young Witch or something and make plays happen. Sure. Let's just pass it. There is a world where he has some kind of attack boosting thing to take down our Young Witch. so I'm okay with that happening. Oh, hang on, I needed to play right there, though. That's okay. If we draw a 3-drop, then it'll work out just the same.
Off we go! Roll out!
It's technically safer this way, I guess, since we'd have that full bit of mana to protect this should we want to. Wait, I thought I was... I'm losing a team. I thought we were on the even attacks for some reason.
Zoom!
That's okay. Okay, not super interested in protecting this. If he wants to open with just this Zonite Urchin, I'm also pretty okay with that. Otherwise, if he doesn't open, then we really start shutting down his combats with our big boys here. Kind of half tempted to just drop the Protector as opposed to Lee Sin. Like we don't need to drop him immediately, and I'm kind of partial to just hitting him with the Jeweled Protector since you know we have 3 spells, we have 2 attacks worth of Lee Sinning we can do here. But I think this feels a little bit safer.
Is it work?
Okay. Maybe we do just drop him to start. Kind of like we did with that last guy. We just clear out his board. Is that a physical Lee Sin? Sonic Wave? These are both the real deal Sonic Waves. Okay, we're playing him now. He just gave us all the spells in the world. There is a chance that we do lose him. Against Piltover, they do have a lot of just direct damage spells, but it's going to take him a bit of work to pull that off. Dude, he certainly has all of the veteran investigators. I did the mathematics on that one. He's got them all.
Cannot hide.
And this plus attack doesn't super matter. Oh. Might as well do it to Lee Sin. The card that could be awkward here out of Piltover is the thing that makes a dude a 4/4. And so if he has suit up, then we might as well take advantage of that. This is one of these things that's weird to me. When you have these challenger units, because your opponent's like ordering of units does matter. Like there's some effects that do happen left or right, and then we can just kind of come in and change all of our opponent's unit ordering. I'm not sure if there's a situation where that ever matters, but interesting that you can do that with challengers. Maybe that'll be a weird rules thing at some point in time.
Spring raindrops.
Beam, sure.
Dragon.
We're pretty ahead on board against a deck that should be more aggressive than us. Like that beam is pretty okay with me. Build up to this Aurelion Sol.
Entering crime scene.
Sure. Do we ever want a concussive palm? I don't think so. Let's just... I think we just want to play our most expensive option. Like, given what we have in our hand here now, I'm kind of content with just trying to double Protector this Startled Stomper and making a making an 8/9 Overwhelm, and then just dropping Aurelion Sol after that. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Sure. He opens. Oh, it's our attack. I've lost at this game. Let's go back to just boosting Lee Sin. He can come in 2 attacks from now, and he'll just be huge.
Citizen.
Might be a waste of a spell, but I mean, when it comes to this Lee Sin, we've got the 2 spells that we can play on the next turn when we actually play. I don't think we need to just stall and hope for meeting these. This all works just fine to me. Excellent, excellent.
Alert the sheriff.
Not like super worried about this Jinx, but we can concussive palm it if she gets scary. Sure. What's our spell thing look like? I'd really like to just be dragon kicking
What's the
stuff.
worst that could happen?
Okay.
What science without a little risk?
I'm on a roll!
Alright, well, we can Huck Killer next turn. We'll probably be able to Death... Oh, no, he'll have 5 cards in his hand next turn. He's not going to Death Rocket. Okay, don't want to take the damage though. I'm just gonna concussive palm this.
But my experiments.
Be pretty stoked to pick up a a barrier, a lifesteal, whatever those happen to be called. These are the situations to where they're particularly useful. I think our saving grace here is going to be he's going to have a real tough time just playing out his hand.
Extend your senses. The dragon himself.
Okay. I think we're okay. I think so. I've said it many times before. But I mean, we have the Sonic Wave, we can Aurelion Sol on his turn.
After them?
All in all, seems pretty reasonable. I think we want to give our Protector Challenger. I'm not like excited about any of these other attacks. Or actually, why don't we give this guy Challenger so we still have a good attack with our
Enemies
Drill Protector.
hide. My lands need. Prepare yourself. Face me.
I kind of want to keep this back to block just in case.
Patience
Probably going to
is
just be going
underrated.
wide here. I think what we want to see happen is I'm not going to. I don't think we want to try to level up our Lee Sin. I think like what's happening here, we're just going to want to get 2 more units on board. It seems like he's going to try to push through us with width. So we'll let the resonating strike fall. We're not going to do a whole lot more Lee Sinning this game. Then we're just going to play the Inspiring Mentor Startled Stomper so that we have some width against this guy's attacks next turn.
To gain the strength of rivers.
We can technically stop right here. We're wider than him. Let's pick up the spell while we can.
I'll see this through.
I think I like that. May not be able to play Aurelion Sol is kind of the scary thing here. Dropping big 10 bombs with Lee Sin though. Oh man. Yeah, I'm pretty. Oh, I don't want to say he was going all in there. Like he could have saved up like Mystic Shots to face.
Minding details is my duty.
Still
I'm pretty on board with him just continuing to add units to the board. I just don't feel super good about playing this Aurelion Sol here. I think there's a good chance that we can concussive palm him out of the game on our next turn. Well, I mean, we can't like kill him with concussive palms. He has too high of health, but we can shut down the majority of his board and put this in a spot that that we're happier with.
Have you written that report? Oh,
Sure.
never mind.
Here's our concussive palm target for the rest of the rest of the game. We can kill her next turn. It's alright. Very happy we didn't play Aurelion Sol though. Interesting. Why? Okay. Really. I had to like check and make sure I didn't die. I don't understand that hook. Maybe it's because I guess it's the only unit that he could kill, and he's afraid of us giving Lee Sin barriers and stuff. What do we think about just not attacking here? I kind of like this. The more I think of it, the more I like this. Let's pick up the Scourge. This is going to be our way to overwhelm through the game. Aurelion Sol's going to flip next turn.
The sunbrock got me good.
The old
I like this. We have so much protection in the double concussive palms. Like this feels good.
What you got for me, Brains? Oh, just you wait.
Wonder at my creation.
Okay, and then we just have like the best open in the world on our next attack, right? If he has to try to all-in us here, and we have this concussive palm protection, and then if he doesn't, then you know we just have the great concussive palms for the next turn. This is all in all pretty fantastic.
I don't need a plan.
Yep.
Trouble coming at ya.
Supposed to be playing cards. What's happening here?
Oh, do get
He's still holding the attack. Okay.
I will not hold back.
I'm just going to start sacrificing units here. We're definitely playing the Scourge, and then I want to get this Golden Sister on the ground. The only way we're ever losing this game is if we get burnt out, and so I'm done worrying about value. I'm just going to Scourge out our smaller units. Like we don't want you. We don't really want Scales of the Dragon.
The light of my
And then we just have this monstrous open. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, happy with how we handled that. No need to be greedy there. We just took our time and built up our board and took the game over. It's nice. Let's get ready for this final battle here. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with this. These Key Guardians do kind of play well with our Claws of the Dragon, but I think the Invoke effect is just going to be a little bit stronger here. It might be like somewhat of a mistake. Like if we had, say, like at least one Deep Meditation, maybe two, then these cycling cards wouldn't be as important. So I'm not like 100% certain I feel good about this, but the only real plays we have with these Key Guardians involve Claws of the Dragon, and so I think I'm happy to make the value trade here. Okay, don't want Fey Guide. Kind of happy to keep this this Deny. Spirit's Refuge is a pretty good pickup, though. If we could trade, I think I'm going to pass on this trade. If we could pick up Spirit's Refuge for Inspiring Mentor, I would do it. Sunblessed Vigor, I think, is a little low here. I like this count of like 15 spells. If we were at like 1917 or 1818, I'd be happy with that stuff as well. But I feel like our spell count is pretty good. The things I want to get out of these trades, I want to trade out some of this expensive stuff. So if we can get rid of any of, to a lesser degree, White Flame Protector, mainly speaking about Firebrand, Jeweled Protector, Horns of the Dragon, if we can get these out of our deck for just about anything, I'll be happy about it. I'm not real stoked about moving out things like Inspiring Mentor. We do still have to play units at the beginning of the game. And so I'm just going to go ahead and skip all of these. Well, here we go. We can trade out the Jeweled Protector for horns. No, just talk exactly what we were talking about. We can trade out the expensive unit for a spell that works just fine for me. Okay, and then a deep meditation for a big dude. I think this is okay. We're still looking pretty good in the big dude department here, so I'm happy to pick that up. Don't want Mentor of the Stones. I think we need to hang on to our Spirit's Refuge. I would actually be pretty happy to have a second one. And then I don't think I want the Spacey Sketcher. We did just move out a big chunk of our top end, and I don't want to go all in on removing that stuff. These White Flame Protectors can give us good combats, like in that previous game where it was like, well, we want a 4-drop to interact, but we don't really want to invest our Lee Sin right now. He's pretty good at clogging up the ground. We don't have any generated cards to deal with this Sketcher, right? We typically want to be discarding gems or discarding dust petal dusts or discarding puff caps. Like, I don't want to be discarding real cards to this. Okay. Interesting. There's a priestess. I'm not opposed to taking her, but I think we're good with like the Behold the Infinites and then just Aurelion Sol. I'm pretty happy to keep this deep meditation. It's what really lets us keep these Lee Sin chains going. And the last one, wow, the dragon. Oh man, all kinds of choices. Oh damn. I think we're just gonna have to pick up this Sunburst. I really want the Eye of the Dragon, but this is like the actual only removal spell we've seen throughout the entirety of the run. I mean, we technically have Whimsy, but this is it. I'm gonna pick it up. It's probably pretty lucky to see that make an appearance. All right, let's get this final battle going. Oh, nap time's over, I think. We're about to get a friend for the final battle. Gotta get some snacks first. Here he is. Come on, bud. Yeah, come on. Okay, we're ready now. All right, this kind of worries me against what has to be an aggressive Misfortune Quinn deck. I have to be playing scouts. It could, like in the best of times, be like a Relentless Quinn and Moonlit Heist Misfortune, but I have to imagine that's not going to be the case ultra frequently. Here, I think we just want to keep the Protector, and then we just have to look for cheapers. We're not going to have time to just kind of dardle around with Lee Sin, and so I think I'm okay to ship him away and just look for something to try and stall out their aggression.
Finger on the trigger.
Okay. I think we can manage with this curve. I want to go ahead and play the claws. May or may not attack with it. We'll see what happens here. And then our plan is to just Concussive Palm whatever he wants to attack with next turn. So like if he plays a... well, that's extremely good for us, his aggression falling off. So if he says play like Divine Shield Scout guy here, 100% stunning it, and then we should be caught back up when we have our Concussive Palm unit and our White Flame Protector.
Come on.
See, he plays his Divine Shield unit, we Concussive Palm, then we're going to add White Flame Protector. This is the only downside to kind of this line is if he has a I've decided we need to open, right? We get punished by both Loyal Badger Bear and we get punished by another one of these Green Fang Wardens. We get punished by the 3/1 for 4 that dies and makes a Badger Bear. We need to just go ahead and get this combat in because we're never getting an aggressive combat in until like turn 9 now. His units are just gonna outclass every 3/2 that we play. So I think that's a pretty good open.
Yeah, you don't want to cross
Missed. All right, cool. Should be a pretty good spot for us. Let's getting to the point now where I would like to try to bank some spell mana. I don't think we get a whole lot out of adding these units to the board. This will get a good hook over here somewhere. He still doesn't really want to attack. Let's just pass and see what he does. If he passes back with no attack, I feel pretty okay with that. He adds another unit, so maybe I don't even really want to add the Stomper. I just don't want to take damage. Here's the thing. Are we ever going to like Twin Disciplines into this board? Okay, this at least has good blocks. I don't care if he gets like hooks onto our 3/2s. These are okay to go. It's looking like a good run, isn't it, kitty? Looking pretty good. Sure. That's moderately frightening. I don't know why he's interested in trying to hook this thing this turn.
Fortune
Misfortune,
favors the
okay.
bold.
He smells something.
Captain's orders.
It doesn't actually lethal our unit, right? And it makes it grow? Okay.
Love ya.
I'm suspect of what's happening here.
Good dog.
I feel like that didn't work how he wanted it to.
Another value of a coin.
That's how I feel. Sure. Buddy. Yep.
Guns blazing.
Okay.
In range.
Oh man, he's bringing the thunder. Get this misfortune the fuck out of here. We're way ahead of this guy in cards. Just going straight murder mode on this board, and when we're ahead in cards in hand, his only board is just this random dude. Absolutely great for me. Our hand is a little weak to get excited about, but I think this is okay. He is right on time, but we don't have any
I won't stand by.
enough cards in hand to be making combos with this. Pretty content to just bank this spell mana and move on.
Let's mess some folks up.
Okay, so I mean, this turn I am good to just Concussive Palm Dragon Protection. That'll put Claws of the Dragon in play. It'll make our Deep Meditation cheap next turn. I mean, technically just throw a... Oh, Lee Sin's not in play. I can't. I thought he was already down.
Looking for trouble.
It's fortune
It
number
found
2.
you.
We can do all of this, right? We just can't like attack with him if that's what we're up to. I think this is okay.
Here we go.
That hits. Misfortune pops.
I've got us
Don't
covered.
want to block this. Right, we're just going to Concussive Palm. I don't want a Dragon's Protection. Not because it does anything cool with Lee Sin, but because it makes our Deep Meditation cheap next turn. See what happens when we draw Resonating Strike here. Oh god, he got 7 damage spell? Oh, Scrap Shot is brutal for us. Oh, not a Scrap Shot. Okay, same deal. Fuck. Okay. That could be tough to recover from.
Finger on the trigger.
Our plans were...
Captain's orders.
Why does he keep doing this?
I see every move.
You gonna make it rain? Yeah, okay.
Never stop shooting.
Once I saw that, I was like, we should just not have blocked. Well, kind of had to. If we didn't block, we're just going to get domed. Oh man, that was a brutal thing to kill. I think all our stuff got messed up. Oh man. Okay. That's tough. Three. Like the man, or deep meditation being expensive is such a problem. Will it pick up Sonic Wave? Behold the Infinite. Concussive Palm would be good. I think we need to do this.
Skill and
Brutal,
grace
brutal,
tear
brutal.
your breath away.
Okay. I was looking for the Golden Sister out of the Behold the Infinite. Didn't show up. Oh god, we're fucked, aren't we? And then I felt like if we picked up Concussive Palm or Behold the Infinites, we would be good to shut down this attack. None of that showed up as well. Now we're just dead. There's no things we can hit with this that matter. Oh, clicked something. Oh god, what's it doing? Okay, we got the warrior. Let's just end this. Damn, that's frustrating. When we needed the RNG to go our way, it just didn't do it. That's unfortunate. But man, hang on. I want to go back and look at that game again. Okay, yeah. I went back and looked at it. There wasn't a whole lot interesting going on there. It was just I think on that turn where we played Dragon Protection on Lee Sin, we should have just played it on Claws of the Dragon, or the 4/2 guy. It was probably it was just too all in putting it on Lee Sin, because it was like having it, not put our claws, our that should have put our Claws of the Dragon into play and made our deep meditation cheaper the next turn. And then the idea we had was that we were going to deep meditation plus play a spell with Lee Sin and then just take out his best unit. If we deep meditation into resonating strike, we can probably take out his 2 best units, and then just having that that Dragon's Protection fail, lose our Lee Sin in the process, lose out on not getting our Claws of the Dragon in play, miss out on deep meditation costing 5 mana now. It was just a brutal sequence that we could have perhaps pulled out of if we had Lee Sin on the board, but I think that was just too greedy dropping it on Lee Sin. We should have at least tried to keep him and protect that smaller unit, but that was rough. I felt like we had a real commanding lead of that game. We blocked everything, kept our health total high, and then just got punished by that play, and then when we had the chance to come back with some RNG, we just completely whiffed. And so kind of savage way to go, but it is what it is. He didn't have a good start either, and so I mean, if we're wanting to complain a whole lot, his early game was pretty bad, and we did everything to just shut down his early game hard opponent. Opponent played that game pretty well. So nonetheless, this was your standard Lee Sin deck. It didn't get too much going on with the Aurelion Sol outside of the what's it called? Behold the Infinite. Loved it. Loved Behold the Infinite here. Such a fantastic card for both Claws of the Dragon and Lee Sin. Because interestingly enough, like a lot of the things, at least in Expedition, what we run into a lot with Lee Sin is you just have to kind of like play spells just to do shit. You have to play Spirit's Refuge onto either a Lee Sin, and then you don't get use of his barrier, or you have to play it on something else, and then you just have to play another spell just to kind of have something to do. And that's kind of easy to do with Sonic Wave, because it's just you're usually pretty happy with making a challenger attack somewhere, and then when it comes to playing Resonating Strike, it's not like you're losing a card. everything just came out of Sonic Wave. But what if we aren't doing it with Sonic Wave, right? What if we play like a Concussive Palm on something, or we make a Twin Disciplines on a combat somewhere, and then we just have to like play a spell to kind of complete the Lee Sin package, and it sucks to be playing Twin Disciplines that you don't want to, or even worse, like 4-cost spells that you don't want to. And Behold the Infinite fits in there fantastically as just a spell you want to play. Yeah, those well, that kind of hurt. It hurt a little bit getting rid of like guiding touch, guiding light, whatever it's called. It kind of functions in the same vein. It just gives us a way to do a spell when we don't really need anything additional done to the board. And so I was actually pretty happy with how these guiding touches turned about. And so yeah, typically with these Lee Sin decks, I don't have like a whole lot of things to say about it. As far as the things that went wrong with this one, I'm happy with how the draft went. We started with Aurelion Sol, and then Lee Sin made an appearance, and so I think it has probably been like 50 or 60 trials since we've seen Lee Sin, and so we got to just jump on him whenever he shows up. But this is a pretty powerful set of champions, or I guess I should say Lee Sin plus Targon. We didn't see a lot of the Targon that you're either loving or hating in Constructed right now. With the Zenith Blade styles of Lee Sin, the Taric styles of Lee Sin. I was happy with these kind of early picks that we took to try to push ourselves away from Aurelion Sol and towards Lee Sin. I think this Key Guardian pack, even though the picks are pretty weak, I remember this being the Spell Slingers pack. I think this was extremely important to help keep pushing us towards Lee Sin and not pushing us towards a Invoke deck. And then beyond that, we probably could have done it better if we really analyzed all the card pools, but trying to take the Aurelion Sol cards that also appear in collective support. We did get to see some collective support packs show up, and that's what we're really looking to add with this Lee Sin. That's where the combat tricks and the good burst spells, the Zenith Blades, all that stuff lives within collective support. But nonetheless, whenever it comes to building this deck, it doesn't play out like a lot of the decks that we typically run around with. The things I like to call out with this is you have to be this plays out like a control deck, or if you're familiar with Magic, it wants to be kind of like a control combo deck similar to what you got a lot out of the times of. I don't want to say Splinter Twin. Splinter Twin I always felt was more like an aggro combo deck, but there are versions of it that played like a control combo deck. But you're trying to do a control deck things that just might oops I'll win with Lee Sin. The oops I'll win part didn't really show up because we didn't get the overwhelm cards, but that's kind of what's happening here. You kind of want to think that I'm building a control deck, and then and so you're not really looking for a whole lot of early game units. You're not looking for these kind of early game combat tricks, and then you're just trying to have this kind of oops I'll win factor with Lee Sin. And so if you're going to be building this Targon Ionia control deck that's not really focused on invokes, what are we going to be looking for? We're going to try to find as many sunbursts as we can. We didn't find this until the last trade pick of the run, but you're going to want as many sunbursts as you can. You're going to want one Whimsy. You're going to want some number of concussive palms. 3 turned out to be pretty good here. And then you're going to want some way to pick up some card advantage. We did dumpster a lot of our card advantage along the way. We really just finished with the 1 deep meditation, but you do want like 1 or 2 deep meditations, or the 3-drop guy that strikes to draw spells. Just some kind of way to make sure that your hand just is never empty. Beyond that, the only other real consideration I think is, I should say I have 2 more considerations, at least with this style of deck. You kind of want to get your unit spell ratio right. You probably want like 15 spells. These Behold the Infinites really play well to this here, and that you can Behold the Infinite and get units out of it. That's one of the bigger things that makes Concussive Palm good. These units as spells cards are pretty strong here, and so if you do end up with a whole big pile of Behold the Infinites and Concussive Palms, you can push this spell count up even higher. But in general, I think you typically want kind of a 50-50 mix. Um, if it has to skew one way, you do want it to kind of skew towards units, but you probably do want a base of about 15 spells. And then, kind of the other thing was just to really, always be mindful of your curve. It's real easy for this deck to run into a curve problem. We did it here for a bit. We had those 2 5-cost dragons to go with the 2 protectors, the 2 horns, the 2 protectors. Like this stuff, it gets pretty expensive quick, and so we did the best we could to really be mindful of our curve here. But even if you have to physically say it to yourself with every single pick, you have to really be careful. Otherwise, you'll just end up with a curve that's way too top heavy, and then you'll end up in a spot where you've just mostly got a dead hand and you're getting overwhelmed on the board. But that's gonna do it for this run. Unfortunately, only took it to 6, but I think we've taken Lee Sin to every single final battle, and so he's kind of like the Lux of whatever that says was the Rising Tides. He's the true powerhouse. He had Lux and Zed in the core set, and Lee Sin and the Rising Tides, and then Leona and Call of the Mountain is just our real powerhouses. But that is it for the run. There are no run rewards there. That was just the first half, but we do have this weekly vault. Look at that. I started playing Constructed. I've been kind of, in my downtime, I'm getting kind of burnt out on teamfight tactics, and so I was like, well, I guess I'll hit Masters and Constructed. And so we've got a few more chests than we usually get. Let's see. To get those champions. I had to spend some wild cards this week. I've only got like 18 champion wild cards now, and so I've only got 110,000 dust and 18 champion wild cards. I don't, my finances are getting really strapped in the worlds of Runeterra. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention here. It just seems to be disenchanting everything. Just want to see the champion down here. Just give me champion I don't already have. I wonder if they'll ever go. I guess they haven't done that thing like in Hearthstone to where you can't open cards that you already own maximum of. But I mean, you can't bitch about the free-to-playness of this game. This game has been the most free-to-play friendly game I've ever played. So, nonetheless, got kind of rambly there at the end, but that's how the reward section tends to go. That's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. Had a good time watching, learned a little something along the way. This is Free to Play Bust, and we thank you for being here.